In the ancient world, two titans clashed for control of the Mediterranean. On one side, the rising Republic of Rome, ambitious and disciplined. On the other, the mighty maritime Empire of Carthage, wealthy and powerful. This is the story of their epic struggle, of legendary generals and political masterminds, of ambition, conquest, and ultimate betrayal. A story of empires forged in fire and a conflict that would shape the course of Western civilization for centuries to come. Imagine the bustling harbors of Carthage, a city built on trade and naval supremacy. Their warships, sleek and deadly, controlled the sea lanes, bringing immense wealth from across the known world. Meanwhile, across the water, Rome was consolidating its power on the Italian peninsula. Its strength was not at sea, but on land, with its disciplined and relentless legions. The Romans were farmers and soldiers, hardened by constant warfare, and they looked across the Mediterranean with envious eyes. The two powers were on a collision course. The First Punic War ended in a bitter defeat for Carthage, forcing them to cede Sicily and pay a heavy price. But this loss only planted the seeds of a deeper, more personal vendetta. It was a vendetta that would be carried by one of history's greatest military geniuses. From the ashes of Carthage's defeat rose a figure destined for legend, Hannibal Barca. As a boy, his father, a Carthaginian general, made him swear an oath of eternal hatred for Rome. This oath would define his life. Hannibal was more than just a soldier. He was a brilliant strategist, a charismatic leader who inspired unwavering loyalty in his diverse mercenary army. He knew he could not challenge Rome's naval might directly. Instead, he conceived a plan so audacious, so unthinkable, that it is still studied today. He would take the fight to Rome's own backyard. In 218 BCE, Hannibal embarked on his legendary march. He led his army, complete with cavalry and his famous war elephants, from Spain, across the Pyrenees, and into the treacherous, snow-covered Alps. The journey was brutal. Thousands of men and nearly all the elephants perished in the freezing conditions and from attacks by local tribes. But Hannibal, driven by his singular purpose, pushed forward. When his exhausted army finally descended into Italy, the Romans were caught completely off guard. They had expected an attack from the sea, not from the mountains. Hannibal's gamble had paid off, and the stage was set for a series of devastating Roman defeats. At the battles of Trebia and Lake Trasimene, Hannibal used brilliant tactics and ambush to annihilate entire Roman armies. His masterpiece came at Cannae, where, despite being outnumbered, he executed a perfect double envelopment, trapping and slaughtering the Roman legions. Rome was plunged into a state of panic and despair. The name Hannibal became a terror whispered in every Roman household. For over a decade, he rampaged through Italy, a seemingly unstoppable force. Yet, despite his string of incredible victories, Hannibal could not deliver the final blow. He lacked the siege equipment and reinforcements needed to take the city of Rome itself. The Romans, under the steady leadership of Fabius Maximus, adopted a strategy of avoidance, harassing Hannibal's army but refusing to engage in another pitched battle. They were buying time. Finally, a new Roman general emerged, one who had studied Hannibal's own tactics, Scipio Africanus. Scipio took the war back to Africa, forcing Carthage to recall Hannibal to defend his homeland. The two great generals finally met at the Battle of Zama in 202 BCE. This time, it was Scipio who outmaneuvered Hannibal. Carthage was defeated, its military power broken forever. Decades later, Rome's lingering fear and hatred culminated in the Third Punic War, This was not a war, but an annihilation. Legend says the Romans sowed salt into the earth so that nothing would ever grow there again. Rome was now the undisputed master of the Mediterranean. With its greatest rival vanquished, Rome's ambition knew no bounds. Its legions marched across continents, expanding the Republic's domain. It was in this new era of conquest that another towering figure emerged, Gaius Julius Caesar. A brilliant general, a skilled politician, and a charismatic orator, Caesar possessed an insatiable hunger for glory and power. He rose through the political ranks, forming a powerful alliance known as the First Triumvirate. His greatest military achievement was the conquest of Gaul, a brutal, 8-year campaign that brought a vast territory and immense wealth under Roman control. His legions idolized him, and his victories made him a hero to the people of Rome. Caesar's success, however, made him powerful enemies in the Roman Senate. They feared his popularity and his ambition. When they ordered him to disband his army and return to Rome as a private citizen, Caesar faced a critical choice. To obey would mean political ruin and likely prosecution. To refuse would mean civil war. In 49 BCE, he made his fateful decision. Leading a single legion, he crossed the Rubicon River, the legal boundary of Italy. The act was an open declaration of war against the Senate. Civil war erupted, pitting Caesar against his former ally, Pompey the Great. Caesar's military genius proved superior once again. After a series of swift victories, he became the undisputed master of the Roman world. Returning to Rome, Caesar was declared dictator for life. He initiated ambitious reforms, revised the calendar, and planned massive public works projects. He was adored by the common people, but viewed as a tyrant by the old god of the Senate. They believed he intended to abolish the Republic and crown himself king. A conspiracy was formed, led by senators who considered themselves defenders of liberty. On the Ides of March, 44 BCE, as Julius Caesar entered the Senate chamber, the conspirators surrounded him. They drew daggers hidden in their togas and stabbed him to death. His assassination was not the salvation of the Republic they had hoped for. Instead, it plunged Rome into another round of bloody civil wars. From this chaos, Caesar's adopted son, Octavian, would ultimately emerge as Augustus, the first Roman emperor. Caesar's death marked the end of the Roman Republic and the birth of the Roman Empire. From the smoldering ruins of Carthage to the marble halls of imperial Rome, this was an age of giants. The legacies of Hannibal and Caesar echo through history. One, a brilliant general who nearly brought Rome to its knees. The other, a leader whose life and death transformed the Republic into an empire. Their stories are a timeless testament to the heights of human ambition and the tragic, inevitable cycle of power, glory, and decay. The Roman world they helped shape would dominate for another 500 years, leaving an indelible mark on law, language, and culture that we still feel today. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this journey into history, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more stories from the ancient world.